we've seen wrestlers go away for a few months and come back.
All right, can you see
There we
this?
go. I see you now. There it
like
is.
WrestleMania in
It's like
Vegas
100,000
this year.
people, bro.
Allegiant
I
Stadium.
hear it.
Yeah, it's gonna go crazy. I should do something.
Are you gonna be back in time for that? No,
Brother, come on, I'm retired. I'm a dad, bro.
he's taking time off.
I'm a
dude.
dad.
Pops.
Yeah.
You're a dad of 8 kids.
19 kids.
Damn, bro, our guys, that's what they got the huzz everywhere.
So there it is. There's Logan Paul casually saying he's going to retire. And then, Dom, question for you. Do you think that he is actually serious that he's going to retire? Or do you think that was just a strange joke? I don't know.
I mean, how many times did Brett Favre retire?
Right?
How many times did Ric Flair retire?
Yeah.
I mean, people could say they're retired. Do I think at his age, do I think he's retired? No. I think he probably is enjoying the time off, but I mean, he's still a great athlete. He's still close to his prime for an athlete, for a competitor in sports. So I think we'll see plenty of him. Will he be a full-time wrestler as he was supposed to be when he signed the contract this most recent time? No, but he was a wrestler before without being a full-time wrestler. And he really wasn't a full-time wrestler this time when he was supposed to be a full-time wrestler. So I don't know what he's retiring from.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't work there. He doesn't do anything. What's he retiring from? How can you retire from nothing?
Right. Yeah, he's not super duper active on the roster as it is. It's not like he's driving around 365 days a year, like one of the, like Mishin or something like that, who's all over the show all the time. It like wrestles every Smackdown. Bianca Belair, who seems to be just on Raw and Smackdown constantly.
Yep.
It's not like he's doing that kind of work. I do like the one thing about the clip where this guy, Mike, who he does the podcast with, is like, oh, no. He's just taking some time off. Like when he says, like, just to right away, like, correct him, which is like, why do you have any say in this man's, like, if he retires or not? Like, it just feels a little bit sometimes when I see these clips that Mike is like trying to box him in or like be like his parent sometimes when he says something.
Okay.
I'm like, who is this guy, Mike, that has all this power and persuasion over Logan
Perhaps
Paul?
that's his role, that Logan Paul just needs like the wise man there. This is life imitating art. Mike is the Paul Heyman of Impulsive.
Yeah. And to your point, I don't think he's retiring per se, but of all the people on the WWE roster that have a lot of other stuff going on that he could just leave, he could come and go as he pleases. And he might be one of the people that WWE needs more than Logan. Like WWE would probably want Logan Paul more than Logan Paul needs WWE.
Yes. WWE needs somebody for their WWE brand of crappy lunch meat thingies.
Yes. Exactly. He's got the crappy lunchly, the cryptocurrency scams going. So maybe he will at one point really need WWE when he finally gets kicked to the curb and gets in a lot of trouble for a lot of this stuff. But at the moment, he's pretty over with a lot of the junk he's involved with.
He's a guy who had a career before WWE. He felt like a cameo that held on too long. And if that's what he means by retire, then sure.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling we'll see him again. I don't think he actually meant it. It is funny, and it's our lead for tonight because it blew up everywhere. It started to become not just like WrestleZone, but then it was picked up by like other bigger outlets or media outlets that were like Logan Paul retiring ? So I was like, we should make a video because it's probably going to be all over the internet. Or we should probably get some cheap views here. And
that's what cheap heat is for, right?
This is cheap heat. So we are shamelessly talking about things that are trending. And let me go ahead and share your screen, Dom.
Here we go. We know who those guys are. You did a fantastic breakdown of the match that Big Boom AJ of the Costco guys had with QT Marshall. This comes to us from WrestleZone. Apparently, Big Boom AJ is returning to the ring in a few weeks. Will appear at AEW All In 2025. Do you want to see these guys again? Do you want to see these guys basically being the Logan Paul of AEW?
Oh man. Before the match started, before I knew anything about these guys, I was like, this is a terrible idea. And then the match happened on the pre-show, and I was like, this is pretty good. Big Justice, or AJ rather. Big Justice is the child, so
Yes.
AJ is the adult of
Big Boom.
of the Big Boom crew, or whomever they are. Yeah, he put on a pretty good match. I think you might be pushing it a little bit because, do you really need this guy on your biggest shows, wrestling matches, when you have all this talent on the roster, especially with AEW? Their roster is almost a little inflated. So, like, are you going to have, like, Mercedes Moné sit the bench while Big Boom, or while AJ here gets an opportunity? So, I don't know. I'm on the fence with it. Maybe it would be cool if they make an appearance, but I don't know if they really need to have a match on their. They're basically All In is their WrestleMania, right? So
Okay.
mhm.
Well, so if the Costco guys did good numbers for AEW, then it would make sense for them to bring them out at their WrestleMania. If this is the celebrity show, where you
Mhm.
might as well do that kind of stuff, I think it makes sense. I was impressed with his match as well, and I was impressed with your breakdown of it, knowing what you know about QT Marshall and AEW. So, yeah, maybe there more of this is in store.
I can't even believe I'm saying that. I'm okay. I'm okay with them coming back. Like
Okay.
I was torching them before. I was like, this is terrible. Who are these people? And I I gladly will eat crow right now and say that wasn't that bad.
Very good. Let's jump over to a couple of people who we thought we were going to see tonight on Saturday night's main event. This is Tiffany Stratton hanging out with the Minnesota Vikings this past Sunday with her Minnesota Vikings championship belt that the WWE likes to do for a lot of these places. And then Bailey was over in San Francisco for the 49ers. She was firing off the foghorn. The way the brackets were set up for the Women's U.S. Championship tournament, it looked like the finals were going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Bailey. Instead, Chelsea Green beats Bailey and Meechin beats Tiffany Stratton. So there's a little preview of tonight. This is neat things that WWE does, getting themselves more involved in other sports, other entertainment. Pretty cool stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially for the Niners to kind of get her to be like the guest of honor for them to fire everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiffany is going to be way over in Minnesota, just like she was on that Smackdown, right?
She's
So
doing babyface stuff.
it's one of those things where she'll be heel everywhere else, and then in Minnesota, she's going to be a big baby face.
Right.
I mean, coming out as a Vikings cheerleader in Minnesota, brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It works for me too. Injury stuff. Bronson Reed expected to miss WrestleMania 41 after sustaining a broken foot at Survivor Series. Unfortunate for him. He was a star on the rise. He was doing some great work, I thought.
He was just getting to a point where you're like, he had such a good program with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
The bloodline needed someone that would be a strong member. He has been good and was like, what a great fit. And it just stinks, right?
It does.
Because he's a guy from like New Japan and he's been around and he's just really proven himself. So you're like, oh, cool. They can slot him into fit. The good thing is, some time off for an injury, you come back, it usually is a good thing, right? But for
It'll
him,
be a great reveal when he comes back, right?
For sure. But for him, it's unfortunate, but hopefully he can bounce back here.
Jimmy Uso expected to return from injury in January. He was at SmackDown last night and took a Claymore from Drew McIntyre, but really didn't have to bump more than that and didn't do anything. He was hobbling. He was on crutches. If he can be back in January, that's good news as well. More good news. Big Bill and Lexi Nair got married. They posted the photos and video over on Instagram. Wonderful news for them. You know Big Bill, he's over in AEW, right?
Yeah, he used to be known as Big Cass. He's in AEW as Big Bill. He's had a pretty good run in Chris Jericho's stable.
Okay.
Under the Learning Tree, which Chris Jericho is now. Have you seen any of this Learning Tree stuff? It's pretty good.
A little bit, but speaking of learning, last thing on the bill before we send everybody over to the WWE thing, Lycoming College. First-year students take a leap off the top rope in a wrestling first-year seminar. John, it's final exam time. I'm thinking about my friends in college. I hated college. If there was a pro wrestling class, I would have taken it, and I would have hated college a little less. What do you think about a first-year pro wrestling theater professional wrestling class led by a master of fine arts, a visiting assistant professor of theater over at Lycoming College? Would you have signed up for this class?
Yeah, you'd have to, right? I should have aced it as I was a pro wrestler. It'd be like if you had a music class and you were already a musician. I would have done it and torn it up. Kind of an interesting wrinkle in the theatric thing, but seems like there probably should be more pro wrestling classes in college. But I guess college is one of those experiences where you do a lot of, let's just say sometimes you take a class that's really goofy and offshoot, and it will not affect your career at all. But that's college for you, right?
On September 18th, as part of the class, they made a trip to Mohegan Arena in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, to see a taping of All Elite Wrestling, Dynamite, and Rampage. You're getting college credit for this.
Go to a wrestling show. Interesting.
When is someone going to do a college class on Don't Bury the Lead?
We might be able to do a community college class at this point if we get monetized. Hey, how did you get monetized? And speaking of which, we are
Colleges, call us. We will teach your students about getting way too excited about pro wrestling on the interwebbies.
Yes, we can do it. We can do it. Dom, we are live with Saturday night, WWE Saturday Night Main Event. So let's end it here. Thank you for joining. It's a shorter GP.
We'll see you after the show for the recap.
Bang. Great job. Talk to you, Dom. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your evening and see